let's say porn industry. In the porn industry, where almost every porn star, whatever, has big breasts, and porn is mostly seen by men. So this is still actual. So our biology is still on plays a role. You would have to rather ask yourself, where is the boundary, or where how much biology is in our desire. What of course, what we have to mention as well is that women, of course, we didn't say this more clearly, is that women, of course, look at a man in a way you would assume healthy. So if you look in a man or a woman, we have some sort of sociological research which shows that people, if they get to know each other, they always look at each other's hands, teeth, and so on. So in order to determine whether someone is healthy or who someone is, and so appearance does indeed play a crucial part. How we perceive others, what we think about others, and so on. However, a considerable part of our desire is, in a way, irrational, is led by fear or by other things. This is what we then continued with your social milieu, your social class, where you come from. You feel comfortable with the people you surround with. We talked about religion, for example, in the US, where you are surrounded, where the church plays a crucial part in the organization of the people, and they some sort of get to know each other. People who have been together almost their childhood, they do not mix a lot with each other, so they socialize with each other, and this comfort, if you want, then leads to a special desire. Let's say we talked about French Canadians, and they then have some sort of a feeling of well-being, a feeling of home if they are among other French Canadians, as well as they share the same religion. Language, we talked about language, which is a key to emotional connection as well. And these developments, these connections have a history, have this is nothing you can feel at once. So there is something on the making, if you want. So emotional connections, they last longer, like friendships. You do not become friends with anyone who walks down the street or whatever. No, you have a special bond, you have special history you share with each other, and so on. So we talked greatly and lengthy about this topic, which is necessary as well, and we because it is necessary for that matter, because human evolution built a lot of language, built a lot of communication. Communication is something you have among bees as well. So I don't know, this is maybe some people might not know this, but bees have a small bee as well as a small animal, whatever it is, has capability of communication. However, what is generally human is the part of empathy. This is the key difference between humans as well as animals. This is not that you are able to communicate. It is rather firstly language. But if you only look at chimps, they have sign languages, so which is part of a language. Bees dance in order to tell others about where they can find nectar. Bees dance, but what humans have, this is empathy, and empathy in that sense that you, as a human being, can put yourself into another human being to understand him. This is understanding, this is emotional connection, where you can feel, let's say, not only the physical pain of someone. For example, if someone, I don't know, hurts himself, you of course might feel the physical pain of this person, because you yourself hurt yourself as well. We all have hurt ourselves in a way or another, so we know when something hurts or whatever. But emotional connection means that you can go beyond this physical pain, for example, to understand the heart pain of someone because he or she broke up with someone, or because of a loss, the pain of someone who lost someone or lost anything, whatever. So you some sort of understand this, you have a connection to this, or you have an emotional understanding of the hardship of someone. We talked about a social class when you're poor, where you struggle, or if you belong to a special race, or if you belong to a race, to whatever migrant group, then you some sort of have a connection and understanding, and where you feel, despite this person has not real physical pain, you still feel a connection, or you still understand someone's hardship as well as someone's excitement. This is what we haven't talked about as well. I mean, we all some sort of are influenced, if you want, by Romeo and Juliet of Shakespeare, those two lovers who could not find love, who misunderstood the signs and then died, so never got the fulfillment of love, if you want. And so this is something which then leads to heart pain, because everyone can some sort of imagine a loss, or everyone can imagine a separation, no matter whether you're poor or wealthy. There is something we feel some sort of a sadness towards this, but there is not only a sadness. We do not share just sadness, as well as we share happiness, joy. If someone is excited, or if someone has accomplished something and he's overjoyed by it, then we of course share this joy as well. Then we of course appreciate. We can partake on someone's joy. Let's only in emotional or in sexual desire, for example, this would then be that you enjoy that someone is, for example, excited by you, someone likes to be you. But as well as in friendship, you always appreciate the accomplishment. Or if you are a true friend, then you always appreciate the accomplishments of others, and so on. So and you celebrate their victories. You are victorious. And in a partnership, it is this connection that goes beyond friendship. We talked about this, that friendship, there is a difference between your friends, your peer group, with people whom you hang out with, and your partner, the person you sexually desire. And we try to separate this from each other. So friendship, but we did not go much into detail, because I think for this we'll need an extra episode, or we would have to analyze friendship separately. However, friendship, if you want, does do without desires, so without sexual desires. We define it, because friendship, you just be interested by someone who just is there for you, and so on. Whereas sexual desire, you really are intimate with someone, as well as mentally, as well as physically, and so on. I mean, of course, the separation, we will some sort of later on try to separate this better. But for now, we will some sort of leave it there. But it is indeed a very interesting topic, and very difficult to separate, because where starts friendship and where ends friendship, if you want, and where starts love. And every couple will say, that his or her partner is not only the love of their lives, but as well as their best friends. However, you cannot, from a male perspective, you cannot say everything to your wife, or you cannot confess everything to your wife or to your girlfriend. If you do, then you are naive. At least, I would say so. This is my opinion. However, you cannot share all your worries and so. And yet, with friends, you can. With friends, especially if you have understanding friends, they will understand your sorrows. They will understand your whatever it is. You will rather confess to friends than to your spouse and so on. However, but we will maybe talk about this later and so on. However, what we wanted to say in this emotional connection theme was, what we left out partially, was that sexual desire always needs a response as well, or love in that sense always needs a response as well as emotional connection, because it lasts long, whereas sexual desire is rather about an object you want to possess, rather that you want to satisfy your own need and craving for that matter. However, and sexual desire in that sense can be misguided as well. In that sense, I mean, this is obviously some perversion, fetish. We all know this. We won't go into detail about some depraved desires as well. This is something there is always a specific. There are a lot of things you can read about on the internet. So, but there's no need for us to go into detail for us. However, we try to some sort of come up with an understanding, or we talked about the Oedipus complex as well, that how the first formative years of a human being starts, how we get influenced with which role models we have. I mean, it makes sense. Again, the psychoanalysis is indeed one of those highly contested theories, approaches. It has a loose scientific foundation, because mostly it is hard to prove in that sense. I mean, there's your conscience, your subconscious is indeed there are not enough possibilities to prove them. I mean, your memories is one part of it where you can some sort of analyze things. But however, I mean, the psychoanalysis, however, try to understand it, try to structure it. Lacan, with his structuralisms, tried to structure it and so on. So there were many attempts. However, we will not go into this too much. We only talked about the Oedipus complex, how this emotional connection of the child occurs, and as well as how homosexuality might develop according to the psychoanalysis. This is again something which will be contested as well. However, we wanted to mention, or I wanted to mention it, because I think it is indeed interesting in that sense that there we have an attempt to understand further human interactions, and like I said, we don't have much which resembles these attempts. We don't have much which could some sort of match this attempt, if you want. I mean, I said this before and I will say this again. We do not have much psychological research in that sense, which really tries to deeply understand human beings. We have philosophy, especially in the English sphere. This is mind. So there is this mind science, and there are a lot of researches about mind, about how the mind works. So, but this is rather confined to philosophy, people thinking about it. It's hard to prove, and so on and